Namaskar, good evening. It's 9 p.m. and you're watching the news with me, Bhawna Nayar. Over the next half hour, let's bring you the top news from national and international arenas. PM Modi's visit to Nepal and all other big developments. But first up, the top headlines we are tracking this hour. India and Nepal signed 6 MOUs. PM Modi's summit with Yoba lays stress on improving cultural and trade relations. Foundation stone laid for Buddhist Culture and Heritage Center in Lumbini. Survey and videography work of Gyanvapi campus conclude. Report to be submitted to court by Tuesday. SCO countries including India meet on regional security challenges, ways to enhance cooperation, talks to include various issues including Afghanistan. Southwest monsoon hits Andaman and Nicobar, expected to reach Kerala by May 27. 7 districts of Assam in the grip of floods. Buddha Purnima celebrated all across the world. Special prayer meetings in Buddhist temples. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet people. Let's take a look at some more important stories of the day in our Flash News segment. IMD predicts relief from heat wave from tomorrow in Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana and Delhi. High-level investigation underway. Politicians and government officers in Jharkhand allegedly linked to corruption, says Union Minister Ashwani Kumar Chaubey. Delhi government tells schools in national capital to set up separate room to store reusable utensils to phase out single-use plastic. DGCA issues show cause notice to Indigo after finding violations in denying boarding to specially abled child at the Ranchi airport. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi wish people on 47th State Day of Sikkim. Rupees 3 lakh crore provided for Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan to be spent in the next 5 years, says Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Asian Championships bronze medalist Nikhat Zareen secures India's first medal at the IBA Women's World Boxing Championship in Istanbul. Sri Lanka's main opposition party SJB to offer conditional support to interim all-party government headed by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Brutal killing of 2 Sikh businessmen by Islamic State militants sparks outrage in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of northwest Pakistan. Community members seek protection for minorities. New Zealand government to provide financial assistance to low-income families to buy a new car to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And now news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held bilateral talks with his Nepalese counterpart Sher Bahadur Deuba at Lumbini, the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. Both leaders discussed ways to explore new areas and strengthen existing cooperation in the multifaceted bilateral partnership. After the meeting, 6 MOUs were signed on strengthening cultural ties, cooperation in the education sector, and projects related to hydroelectric power. The Prime Minister addressed the Buddha Jayanti celebration at the International Convention Center and Meditation Hall of Lumbini. Describing the shared heritage, culture and faith as the biggest asset of India-Nepal relation, the Prime Minister said the growing friendship of the two countries in the current global situation will benefit entire humanity.
त्रिभुवन यूनिवर्सिटी में भारत का सहयोग और प्रयास इसके बड़े उदाहरण हैं। मैं इस क्षेत्र में अपने आपसी सहयोग के विस्तार के लिए और भी कई बड़ी संभावनाएं देखता हूं। हम इन संभावनाओं को और भारत नेपाल के सपनों को साथ मिलकर साकार करेंगे। हमारे सक्षम युवा सफलता के शिखर पर बढ़ते हुए पूरी दुनिया में बुद्ध की शिक्षाओं के संदेशवाहक बनेंगे।
We had fruitful discussions today on the ways and means to further advancing historical relations between Nepal and India. We also look forward to developing the Buddhist circuit, which will further strengthen our cooperation in culture and tourism, as well as link the sacred lands that were significant in the life of Lord Buddha.
Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who arrived in Nepal, met people from the Indian community in Lumbini. There was a lot of enthusiasm among the people regarding this visit of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Modi also visited the Mahaparinirvan temple in Kushinagar on the occasion of Budh Purnima. The Prime Minister reached the temple by road and worshipped Lord Buddha, who is in a sleeping posture statue. He offered a Shiva cloth to the statue of Lord Buddha. The temple priest presented him a statue of Lord Buddha. Moving ahead, the survey videography work of Gyanvapi Masjid complex concluded in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh amid tight security. The work continued for over 2 hours and 15 minutes and ended at around 10:15 a.m. on Monday. The Gyanvapi Masjid is situated close to the iconic Kashi Vishwanath temple. Meanwhile, a court in Varanasi district directed the district administration to seal the part of the complex where a shivling was claimed to have been found. The court had directed that a report to be submitted to it by May 17th. Counterterrorism experts from India, Pakistan and the SCO met in Delhi to discuss ways to enhance cooperation in dealing with the regional security challenges. The meeting was organized under the SCO's Anti-Terrorism Regional Framework. The meeting focused on the situation in Afghanistan, including threats related to dealing with terrorist organizations operating in the Taliban-ruled country. Pakistan has sent a 3-member team to the meeting. India took over the championship of the SCO RATS Council on 28 October for 1 year. The SCO is an influential economic and security group that has emerged as a major international organization. And in some other news from across the nation. In Tripura, 9 MLAs from the ruling BJP and 2 from IPFD took oath as cabinet ministers in the new government headed by Manik Saha. Governor S.N. Arya administered the oath of office and secrecy to the newly appointed ministers at Raj Bhavan. The Supreme Court has taken cognizance of the pendency of appeals in the Allahabad High Court. The court has directed the Registrar General of the High Court to inform the general procedure following for listing criminal appeals, especially in the cases where appellants are serving life imprisonment. The centre has allowed Food Corporation of India to procure wheat in Punjab, Haryana and Chandigarh by relaxing the norms for reasonable average quality standards of dry and broken wheat grains. The government has given a discount of up to 18% in the average quality without cutting prices. Pharmaceutical firm Biologicals E Limited has reduced the price of its COVID vaccine, Corbavax, from Rs 840 to Rs 250 inclusive of GST. The company said users will now have to pay Rs 400 per dose, including taxes and vaccination charges. In the last 24 hours, 2,202 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country. Patients under treatment are down to 17,317, which is 0.04% of the total cases. The national recovery rate of patients is 98.74%. In the 10th such increase this year, aircraft fuel prices have been hiked by 5.3%. Aircraft fuel prices are at an all-time high due to a sharp rise in global energy prices. North India is reeling under intense heat waves with the temperatures as high as 49 degrees Celsius reported in the capital, New Delhi. Daily wage workers and those who work outdoors were the worst affected. On Monday, many of them were catching some respite from the warm weather in the shade under a flyover bridge next to the Yamuna River. The Indian Meteorological Department said in the last few days, temperatures had reached between up to 48 to 49 degrees Celsius. Heat waves in North India, floods in East India. The Indian Air Force rescued 119 passengers of the Silchar-Guwahati Express after the train was left stranded due to heavy rain. The Silchar-Guwahati train was stranded in Kachar area. Due to flood water, the train was unable to move either forward or backward. After the train was stranded for several hours, the district administration, with the help of the Indian Air Force, rescued 119 people. According to the reports, over 57,000 people across 7 districts in Assam have been affected by the incessant rainfall. Incessant rain has led to massive damage to roads, bridges and irrigation canals in Hojoi, Lakhimpur and Nagaon districts. The southwest monsoon has reached Andaman and Nicobar Islands, indicating the onset of seasonal rains in the country. Conditions are favorable for further advance of the monsoon into the parts of South Bay of Bengal, entire Andaman Islands and some part of the East Central Bay of Bengal in the next 2 to 3 days. Widespread rain and thunder showers are likely to occur over Kerala, coastal and South Karnataka at isolated places during the next 5 days. There is also a possibility of heavy rain in Tamil Nadu till Wednesday and in Lakshadweep in the next 2 days. The southwest monsoon is expected to reach Kerala by May 27th, 5 days before normal. Moving on to our next news, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi asserted that his party connects with the people. Addressing a gathering at the Karana village in Banswara, he said the Congress wants an India in which every person gets a chance to fulfill his dream.
हम दो हिंदुस्तान नहीं चाहते, हम एक हिंदुस्तान चाहते हैं। एक हिंदुस्तान में हर एक व्यक्ति को अपना सपना पूरा करने का मौका मिलना चाहिए। भाई और बहनों, यही लड़ाई है।
Slipping into a short break here, on the other side, Queen Elizabeth attends a special function to celebrate the 70th anniversary of her enthronement. All this after this short break. You stay tuned.
Bills passed by Parliament.
Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The bill is passed.
जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ कहें, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना कहें, मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हुआ, हाँ वालों के पक्ष में।
Laws that govern the country. How will they affect us? Let our top experts tell you all about their impact and implications in Bills and Insight, only on Sansad TV.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching the news and now all the updates related to the conflict in Ukraine. European Union foreign ministers are meeting in Brussels to discuss a sixth round of sanctions on Russia, including an oil embargo. Lithuania's foreign minister said that the plans to impose an oil embargo on Russia are being blocked by just one of its 27 member states. Hungary said that it will not join the sanctions that it says will cripple its economy. Russia has said that the potential bids by Finland and Sweden to join the NATO military alliance are a grave mistake that will increase military tension in Europe. Russia said the security of Sweden and Finland will not be strengthened as a result of the decision. The US Congress will seek to ratify Finland's application to join NATO before going into recess in August. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell told reporters in Helsinki after meeting with Finland's President Sauli Niinisto that there will be a broad bipartisan support among US lawmakers for Finnish membership. McDonald's is selling its Russian business that includes 850 restaurants with 62,000 employees. It will make it the latest major Western corporation to exit Russia in the wake of its invasion. The fast food giant said holding on to its business in Russia is no longer tenable, nor it is consistent with McDonald's values. Ukrainian border guards have repelled an incursion by a Russian group in the northeastern region of Sumy. The Russian group has reportedly entered Ukrainian territory under the cover of mortar shells, grenades and machine gun fire, but retreated after the border guards fought back. The governor of Kharkiv has reiterated earlier claims that Ukrainian troops defending the region had reached Ukraine's border with Russia. His post included an earlier released video that claims to show Ukraine's troops reinstalling a blue and yellow border post in the northern Kharkiv region. The Russian military continued artillery and air attacks on Mariupol, particularly on the Azovstal plant, where some Ukrainian fighters are hauled up. The Ukrainian army said that over the past day, it had repelled 17 attacks on Donetsk and Luhansk. And some other global updates in this quick wrap. Within just few weeks of the April 29th summit between Prime Minister Modi and President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, India and EU have started work to give shape to their commitments in education and clean energy. Sansad TV correspondent Akhilesh Suman spoke to the European Union ambassador on these aspects in New Delhi.
The European Union is giving scholarships to 143 Indian students. This will be in addition to existing EU scholarships in science, technology, management and clean energy.
There are going to be 143 students traveling to Europe this year with an Erasmus plus scholarship, with an Erasmus Mundus scholarship. But it's not just Erasmus, we also have other programs of academic exchanges. And let me mention here the Marie Curie Sklodowska program. And again, what we see is an extremely large contingent of Indian scholars taking advantage of this possibility for academic exchange. It's an important dimension of the strategic partnership between the European Union and India.
Cooperation in clean energy is another major focus area of the India-EU partnership. During her visit in April, European Union President Ursula von der Leyen visited the International Solar Alliance headquarters in Gurugram near Delhi. The EU has given €1 million to strengthen the Solar Alliance office and network.
You may have seen that the President of the Commission visited the Solar Alliance at the time of a visit last month. And we have set in motion a program for around €1 million to bring together European players and the International Solar Alliance to see how best we can together cooperate for this common objective, which is a greener energy mix worldwide.
The EU is also interacting with youth associated with different trades related to both EU and India. And despite their divergent stance on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, both India and EU are trying to forge a common approach on strategic issues like clean energy and Indo-Pacific. In line with this is a technology council on lines of what the EU has with the USA. All eyes are now on how swiftly will India and EU agree on free trade agreement. Akhilesh Suman's report for Sansad TV.
Queen Elizabeth II attended the Royal Windsor Horse Show. The performance, called a Gallop Through History, featured a mixture of music, equestrian performances and acting. Celebrities including Dame Helen Mirren, Tom Cruise and Katherine Jenkins were also in attendance. Enjoy this report.
England's Queen Elizabeth II was all smiles on Sunday as she attended a special Platinum Jubilee celebration outside Windsor Castle. This year's Royal Windsor Horse Show celebrated the 70th anniversary of her coronation with a special show called Gallop Through History.
But I have the heart and stomach of a king, and the King of England too!
More than 1,000 performers and 500 horses enacted key moments of royal history. Performing stars included Tom Cruise, Damian Lewis and Dame Helen Mirren, who portrayed Queen's namesake Elizabeth I.
For Her Majesty, the Queen! Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
The Queen's public appearances are being closely watched as the country prepares to celebrate her long reign with 4 days of festivities from 2nd of June. The 96-year-old monarch curtailed her schedule in recent months as she recovered from COVID-19 and coped with unspecified difficulties in moving around. She asked her son Prince Charles to preside over the state opening of Parliament and deliver the Queen's speech, which lays out the government's legislative program. The event is one of the Queen's most important public appearances, highlighting her constitutional role as head of state. Buckingham Palace didn't elaborate on what prompted the Queen to delegate her role to Prince Charles, but the palace says she experienced episodic mobility problems in recent months. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And some more news from across the world now. China reported economic decline in April when its main industrial cities had shut down due to the coronavirus outbreaks. Beijing said industrial growth rate decreased by 2.9% from a year ago, while the service industry shrunk by 6.1% in the same period and retail sales decreased by 11.1%. 2 people were killed and 3 injured after a shooting on Sunday at a bustling flea market in Houston, in the U.S. state of Texas. Officers had received a call about an altercation between 5 men before the shooting took place. One of the 2 possible suspects was detained on the scene and another one was hospitalized. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has defended his decision not to brief the opposition Labour Party leader earlier on the AUKUS agreement. Under the agreement in September, United States and Britain will supply Australia with submarines powered by United States nuclear technology. However, an Australian newspaper reported on Saturday that the US had said bipartisan support as a prerequisite. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un criticized officials over slow medicine deliveries and mobilized the military to respond to a surge in suspected COVID-19 infections. North Korean health authorities said 8 more people died and nearly 4 lakh were newly found to have feverish symptoms. That brings the death toll to 50 and illness to 1.2 million in the country. A total lunar eclipse was visible across North and South America on Sunday night. NASA showed the moon bathed in the red and orange hues of the Earth's sunsets and sunrises that lasted for about an hour and a half. It was one of the longest totalities of the decade and the first so-called blood moon in a year. Now all the action from the world of sports. Starting with boxing, India is assured of 3 medals from the ongoing IBA Women's World Boxing Championships. Nikhat Zareen secured India's first medal today by advancing to the semi-finals with a superb win. Nikhat outpunched England's Charlie Sian Davison 5-0 to reach the semi-finals in the 52 kg category. Manisha in the 57 kg category and Parveen in the 63 kg category to have made it to the semi-finals. In badminton now, India scripted history on Sunday as they defeated the holders and 14-time champions Indonesia 3-0 in the final to win their maiden gold medal at the Thomas Cup. Kidambi Srikanth defeated Jonathan Christie 21-15, 23-21 in the third match as India became the 6th team to win the Thomas Cup. This is the first time in the 73 years India had won the tournament. The best before this was a semi-final finish in 1979. India were given a winning start by Lakshya Sen, who defeated Indonesia's Ginting. Lakshya lost the first game 8-21 but came back to win 21-17, 21-16. The doubles match that followed was even more dramatic. Satvik and Chirag saved 4 match points in the second game and won 18-21, 23-21, 21-19. Moving on to cricket now. In IPL 15, Rajasthan Royals defeated Lucknow Super Giants by 24 runs and boosted their chances of qualifying for their playoffs. Batting first, Rajasthan made 178 for 6 with useful contributions from Yashasvi Jaiswal, Sanju Samson and Devdutt Padikkal. Lucknow's could reach only 154 for 8 in their attempt to chase the target of 179. Sri Lanka's Angelo Matthews became the 12th batsman to get out 199 in a test match. Matthews missed the double century by 1 run in the test at Chattogram, Bangladesh. He was the last man out in Sri Lanka's first inning of 397. Bangladesh was 76 for no loss on day 2 of the test. Moving on to tennis. World number 1 Novak Djokovic ended a long wait for his first title of 2022 as he defeated Stefanos Tsitsipas in the Italian Open final to clinch his 6th title in Rome. Djokovic won in straight sets 6-0, 7-6. Djokovic found top form just a week ahead of the French Open where he will be a top favourite. Before we wrap this bulletin, let's look at the headlines once again. India and Nepal signed 6 MOUs. Prime Minister Modi's summit with Dioba lays stress on improving cultural and trade relations. Foundation stone laid for Buddhist Culture and Heritage Center in Lumbini. Survey and videography work of Gyanvapi campus conclude. Report to be submitted to court by Tuesday. SCO countries including India meet on regional security challenges, ways to enhance cooperation, talks to include various issues including Afghanistan. Southwest monsoon hits Andaman and Nicobar, expected to reach Kerala by May 27th. 7 districts of Assam in the grip of floods. Buddha Purnima celebrated all across the world. Special prayer meetings in Buddhist temples. President, Vice President and Prime Minister greet people. That's all we have in this bulletin tonight. This bulletin can also be watched on our social media platforms. All you need is to follow Sansad TV on social media. To keep yourself updated, keep watching Sansad TV. Take very good care of yourself. Good night. Namaskar.